Patriot Act, fam.
So the Patriot Act was signed into law shortly after the 9/11 attacks. In the bill, it allows the government to expand on the definition of what terrorism is, with the capability of always moving our goalposts, which is something we do. Won't the military-industrial complex constantly create new enemies and then obviously constantly have the need to implement a new Patriot Act or amend it and add to it?
Whether the problems are created or not, the military-industrial complex certainly acts opportunistically in seeking and claiming more powers in times of crisis. I don't want to, for instance, say that I don't think the pandemic was created by a military-industrial complex, but it certainly, just as it was after the 9/11 attacks, it was waiting in the wings and seized immediately on the opportunity to claim new powers. The Patriot Act is a story of the Project for a New American Century having proposed surveillance measures and other powers that Congress rightfully had rejected before the 9/11 attacks, and then dusting those proposals off a shelf and ramming them through a compliant, fearful Congress in the days following the attacks. Now, in the face of the pandemic, Nancy Pelosi and other centrists in Congress have whipped votes for and argued for the extension of Patriot Act powers. It's remarkably disturbing that Pelosi was outflanked by McConnell on civil liberties in the last week, which I think is just a gross representation of the speaker's failure as a leader of the Democrats in Congress, and to see voices that have clamored repeatedly for extensions of Patriot Act powers that were set to expire, now continuing to do so even after some of those powers, particularly Section 215, that's the business records provision, sometimes known as the library records provision, it has officially expired, as it has been scheduled to do so on multiple occasions in the past, at every one of which Congress has scrambled at the last minute without any hearings, without any evidence, saying, oh my God, the sky's going to fall. We must reauthorize this law or we're all going to die. And that law has finally expired. And there's plenty of Americans dead, but not from problems that surveillance would have fixed, right? That's the issue here, is that we have been sold a false bill of goods. And neither the Patriot Act nor surveillance generally stands in for security. What they stand in for is corruption. These are career insulating, not national security promoting initiatives. Right. I'm very eager to see the transparent, going to Pasta's question from before, transparent public debate over these powers that never happened when they were first proposed, that has not happened in the years since, that is long overdue, and a debate, incidentally, that the national security agencies cannot win because these powers don't actually keep us safe. All they do is suck the resources out of the federal treasury that could otherwise go towards things like doctors and medicine that we actually need. Beyond surveillance, there's another piece here of the civil liberties crisis that has gone widely underreported. And I'm alarmed that to this point, as far as I know, only Newsweek and Politico have even written single stories, and neither of them more than one, about a letter written by Attorney General Barr to Congress seeking the statutory authority to invite chief justices of district courts to suspend habeas corpus. That's an incredibly dangerous power at any time, let alone when it's an aspiring tyrant in the White House. Our president is a criminal who knows no bounds, either legal or normative. We cannot give Donald Trump or a government led by him the authority to detain Americans without charge or trial. That will be the end of our democracy if we let it be. And every member of Congress, before even joining the body, swore an oath specifically for moments like this to defend the Constitution. And I implore my future colleagues to show up for work. This is not a time to put career before country. We must put bedrock constitutional norms and rights at the front of our decisions. There is enormous peril if we let the right to trial slip through our fingers.